if you could pick one professional wrestler to protect you when the power goes out at Jurassic Park, who would it be? And Joven, I kind of hate you because you just talked about The Rock, and The Rock was going to be mine. Now I feel obligated to pick someone else because
technically I talked about Dwayne Johnson.
I still feel like I need to pick someone else, and it's not just because The Rock is the only wrestler I know. It's because I thought he would be do a good job of protecting me. But anyway, and I should mention, you get the wrestler you pick in their prime. So you could pick someone from any era.
That makes sense.
Or whatever.
Okay.
And let's turn cameras off, and Paco will send us the message before we start.
Oh man, I loved this topic. Again, Lasercorn, just A, Jurassic Park, one of my favorite IPs, B, wrestling. Come on. All of this is fantastic.
Let us start with our guest, Ninja Brian. Brian, can you go ahead and tell us what wrestler you would choose to protect you when the power goes out at Jurassic Park, and why?
Yeah, well, this was actually a very, very simple choice for me. It's I'd like to see the Undertaker tombstone pile driver a T-Rex, and so
Wow.
I don't know what else you could possibly want, but that was my of course that has to be what it is. To be fair, he could also tombstone pile driver a Velociraptor. Or
more likely
pile driver a Stegosaurus, or tombstone pile driver a Triceratops. I'd be happy with indeed the Undertaker giving the tombstone pile driver his finishing move to any dinosaur whatsoever. But the T-Rex is the one I'd really like to see. We didn't say if the wrestler is normal size or if we can
just in his prime.
He's in his prime, but we're also in Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
so
they can affect the genetics.
Real big, sure.
Yeah.
So that's my answer. Undertaker.
Jurassic Undertaker.
Jurassic Undertaker. That's exactly right.
I know the camera adds 10 pounds, but I really feel like you're overestimating the size of the Undertaker if you think you can pile drive a T-Rex.
I don't think I am, but I don't know how to convince you of that.
However, he could probably have pile drive the Velociraptor because I believe they were slightly smaller than.
They were much tinier. They were like the size of the chicken.
Yeah.
Although the dinosaur that they were actually going for in Jurassic Park is actually, and I don't know how to pronounce it because I've only seen it written, but Deinonychus or Deinonychus, which is a larger version of a Velociraptor. There's also the Utah Raptor, which is a larger raptor, but that wasn't discovered until after Jurassic Park was made.
I didn't realize that.
Or the first Jurassic Park was written before that one had even been discovered. So there is a bigger Velociraptor, but that's not the one they were talking about.
Well, how about this? He could, while he's doing it to the Velociraptor or whatever that is, his phrase that he says, he could be like, driver girl, bam, right? Get it down there. Instead of clever girl, driver. See how well that joke worked? It worked so well, I had to explain it.
Yeah, that's how you know a joke's working, Brian.
Yes, I'm aware. Lasercorn, I do comedy for a living. I'm aware how jokes work.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna go next before my wrestler gets taken again, and I'm gonna go with Mick Foley. Mick Foley, Mankind.
Yeah, which version of him?
Mankind. Let's go with Mankind.
Sacco. I just want to interject real quick because Mick Foley's whole thing is sticking his arm in someone else's mouth.
Yes. No. Stop interjecting because that's my whole point. So the Velociraptor goes to eat him and it's like roaring at it. It's like, rah, and he just shoves his sacco in his mouth and like wiggles around his jaw, and the Velociraptor is so confused. It's like, no, I was going to bite you. Why is there this thing in my mouth? And I feel like whatever material sacco is made of, it can withstand a raptor bite because it's been through a lot. Yeah. Whatever like bacteria or viruses are on there from, mankind, I feel like they would chew right through a Velociraptor and destroy it. And I also feel like at some point he would be, just because it's Mankind, he would be just riding around on a Triceratops.
Yeah,
just
that
leading
tracks.
me to victory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, can you imagine him with the Dilophosaurus, which, it spits that venom at you in the movies? There's no proof they could do that in actuality. But can you imagine him just stuffing that shot and like shoving the venom back down its throat? That'd be great. I would love to see that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and then, he's durable too because he survived getting thrown off that Hell in the Cell match. So, like, no matter what a dinosaur does to him,
he'll get back up and wobble his way.
He's just going to come back and keep taking the punishment, he's a tank, basically. He's going to tank that damage for me so I get out alive. That's the best answer, really.
Good plan B answer. Good plan, answer.
Yep. Jovenshire, you want to go ahead and give us...
I think it's safe to say, now I don't know Brian as well as the two others here, but I think that I'm the biggest wrestling fan here.
I don't know much about wrestling for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, the answer is very simple. You guys are looking at a lot of, legendary wrestlers of their time. I'm very up to date right now, and I'm a big AEW fan. So obviously, we have to go with the current TNT Championship as of Collision. I loved this guy in the indies. I saw him at Bar Wrestling, knew he was fantastic. Then he got picked up on AEW, and for good reason. I present to you the person that will save us all from Jurassic Park is in fact Luchasaurus, because he is a 65 million year old dinosaur wrestler who's 6'5" and doing backflips and choke slamming. He's got the Extinction Event. The Extinction Event is his finisher. That's his signature move. So of course he's going to kill the dinosaurs with the Extinction Event.
Wow.
How could you not go with Luchasaurus? Like, I want to ride around on his shoulders, Jungle Boy style, and just be like, I'm king of the world. One of my favorite wrestlers. Love what they're doing with him in AEW, and love what they're going to do with him in Jurassic Park.
Well, I can tell you how you could not pick that is you could not know who that is. No. Because he seems...
Dude, you're missing out. Like, so in the indies, when you can kind of do anything with music, you would hear like the T-Rex like stomps, and then you'd hear like a giant roar, and then they'd go into like badass music, and I'm just like I think it was even Godzilla's music. I might be wrong on that, but yeah, it was just the most epic. It would be so long too, because you'd hear the footsteps like for a while before the giant roar, and then he comes out slow and brooding. I can talk about Luchasaurus all day.
Dude, yeah, I mean, from what you're describing of him, he seems like the perfect hard counter to the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
He has the Extinction Event. I mean, if we were giving points for best answer, I feel like you're winning so far.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So Hinky, can you top Luchasaurus?
Well, I got two options, as I often do, because I have a hard time making up my mind, and it's kind of depending on what I want my strategy to be. It's like, can I see the exit from where I'm currently sitting? Then I gotta go with Goldberg, okay? Because he's a big, beefy target. What do dinosaurs go on? Movement. So I'm just gonna be like, dude, you gotta go spear that T-Rex over there. And he just charges at the T-Rex. Every dinosaur in the park sees him running at this T-Rex, and then boom, I got a straight shot to the exit. Now, are we a little bit more on the interior of Jurassic Park? Can I maybe not see the exit? Then I would want someone who is probably as big of a nerd as I am to remember details from the movie about how to escape. And who would do that? The biggest nerd, who is also an amazing wrestler we know, our friend Xavier Woods. Would definitely know all the details. Yeah. Plus, he's a big, strong man. He could definitely protect me against some of the smaller dinosaurs. So yeah, the Xavier Woods would be my answer in that situation.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's a good answer, too. All right. All the answers have been answered. Paco's Tacos, are we ready to jump back in?
The dismembered limbs next to a broken and bloody goat. You see the body of Sohinki.
Damn it.
Oh.
Finally, I jump in. Look at how happy
I would have been so mad.
He lived.
I'm so excited for this round. This is the best question of all time on this podcast.
Well, I'm happy to go off first. I wrote down so that I'm not called a liar in this case. Here's my notebook. Here's what I wrote down. We can all see it right there. So for Lasercorn, I wrote down the phrase, "It's been through a lot." All right.
Okay.
And Joven, I wrote down a couple things for you, actually. Extinction Event, Jungle Boy style, and the one that really stood out to me was I'm king of the world.
Ooh.
So I, based purely on that, I'm voting for Joven.
I would have to say, I guess I should clarify because that sounds weird, at least on the Jungle Boy style. Jungle Boy was Luchasaurus' tag partner, and he would come out riding on his shoulders. So
Okay, great. So I'll cross that one
Yeah,
off.
that one-
but
I just
still
wanna
got
make sure
I'm
we're
King of
all
the World.
on
No, I
the same
do
page.
appreciate that because I didn't understand the reference. So
Yeah.
that one makes sense. You've exonerated yourself on 1 out of 3 counts, and but I'm King of the World really stood out to me as an odd thing to say there.
But now that you know that you're riding on his shoulders, that's exactly what you would say in that position. But I respect yours. I'm just
That's
happy.
exactly what
I'm
you
happy
would
to
say
be
in
here,
this
guys. I'm
position.
happy to
but,
be here.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Joven also said, and you missed this one, but 65 million year old, which is something, which is a very Jurassic Park specific phrase that I feel like Paco might throw down. If
Yeah,
he's
and
writing
Joven might not
prompts.
know. Sorry to interject.
No. Luchasaurus in his bio, he's billed from the tar pits, and he is 65 million years old. At 6'5", Luchasaurus.
Right. But the Jurassic Park logline or catchphrase is also the movie 65 million years in the making. So it feels like...
Well, yeah, dinosaurs are from 65 million years ago.
It feels
Okay,
like...
you're
right,
trying
but
to
if
metagame with where
if
Paco
you're
would go. I
right-
get it.
If you're writing prompts for or if you're writing kill phrases for a Jurassic Park prompts, then 65 million years seems
I
like
just feel
something
like
that's going to come
I'm going to
up.
start taking
but wouldn't-
defense notes because I feel
wouldn't
like
people
it's
say
just
that
always
by
going to come towards
accident?
me.
If people say the phrase by accident, do they die?
If they get
Oh.
themselves killed.
Yeah.
Actually, we never thought about that.
That's a fun one.
No. So only the killer can say the phrase. So you couldn't accidentally kill yourself.
You can't
'cause there is
step
no
on a
phrase for
landmine.
you.
Okay.
But you could accidentally kill someone, maybe. Yeah.
That would be funny.
That would be fine.
I had nothing for Brian.
Makes
So Joven. But here's the thing. So here's the competing thing. Joven, I think, had the most obvious phrase, and I'm pretty good at guessing phrases. But Joven was also really excited when he found out he's not dead. I don't know if he's that good of an actor that he could fake it. So I'm very conflicted.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm a director now, I guess. Well, I do want to say, because before we start to line too far, knowing the prompt, I was like, all right, the first person that does this is going to be the killer. I've known Paco for 20 years, almost 20 years. And I was like, this is going to come up. And whoever says it, they are 100% going to be the killer. And it wasn't right off the bat because he went later, but Brian, so the prompt was wrestling move on a raptor. Like, I knew whoever said a wrestling move on a raptor.
It didn't
whether
say
it chokeslam-
raptor.
Did you? Oh, you didn't say rap.
It says, no, I said, so the prompt was one professional wrestler to protect you when the power goes out.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. Whoever said this particular, in their argument on which the best one. So wrestling move on a raptor was like, whoever says that, it's going to be them. You didn't say raptor. You're right. You said like 5 different dinosaurs. But no, you said a raptor and you said pile
I said
driver.
a velociraptor. I said the tombstone. Let's please be specific here.
I'm
I said
sorry. It wasn't the Utah
tombstone
raptor.
pile
It
driver,
was the
which is the
velociraptor.
Undertaker's finishing move.
Anywho, you had wrestling move on Dinosaur, and that checked my box immediately. And I was like, I know that's going to be a prompt. It's going to be a prompt, and Brian said it.
Well, I did say it because it's the most obvious thing you would want when you pair a wrestler with a dinosaur.
Yes. And yet no one else said it.
Well, that's not up to me. What other, one thing I've learned in therapy is that you can't control other people's behavior. And so if nobody else took the opportunity to say that, you can't blame me for other people's shortcomings.
So I think it's going to be pile driver on, if I had to choose one of the dinosaurs that you said.
Pile driver.
You did say tombstone pile
I
driver.
said T-Rex first.
All right. So
Yeah.
as the host, I'm going to say that we're going to have to cast our initial round of votes here.
Okay.
People do get a rebuttal. My initial vote is for Jovenshire.
My vote is also for Jovenshire.
Okay. I'm going with Brian, I think, because it was wrestling move on Dinosaur. That is 100% the phrase that slays.
So the two of you get a rebuttal, starting with, I guess Jovenshire had the most votes for him. So Jovenshire, rebuttal, why it is not you.
It sounds like the reason it is me is because of some of the unique phrases I threw out there. But all of the stuff that was called out was very specific to the wrestler that I chose. 65 million years ago is in his bio. You mentioned the Extinction Event. That is his finisher move. And again, just kind of perfect for this situation. I already mentioned the Jungle Boy
King
thing.
of the World. King of the World. What about King of the
Okay,
World?
look. When you're sitting on 7 feet up in the air and you spread your arms out, you're going to say, I'm king of the world. That would be a hard prompt for Paco to work into this one. I don't I wouldn't see that as a prompt coming up. So I think that the biggest reason that I'm being voted in right now is because of my phrases. But they're all very unique to the character that I chose, which Paco doesn't know what characters we're going to choose. So it has to be a little bit more generic to the prompt. Thus why I think it is wrestling move on Dinosaur, which was pile driver on probably Velociraptor.
I have never seen, but here's the thing, Joven, I've never seen Paco put like wrestling move or something in parentheses.
No. That was I knew whoever said something like that was going to be the killer. And in Brian's case, I think the prompt is pile driver on Velociraptor.
But then you would have to pick a wrestler who is known for doing a pile.
No, just generic wrestling moves.
Yeah, I don't see that as being the phrase.
Look,
Brian, you get a rebuttal.
I'll agree that it would be pretty easy in this context to work in any given wrestling move on any given dinosaur. But the fact that, first of all, the fact that nobody else said this, I think is shocking. So that's not my problem.
Also, as I started to put the spotlight on Brian, he got so defensive and started to backpedal on a couple of things. I think just this was the first time the spotlight was on him. Don't let me. I feel like I'm coming off a little casual since my logic didn't make sense to anyone. The moment the spotlight was on him, he's like, "What? No, I didn't say pile driver. I said tombstone pile driver." So yeah,
I did say tombstone pile driver. I think that was not to defend myself. It was to defend the Undertaker.
That's
finishing
very
move
specific.
Is not the pile driver, which anyone can do. It is the tombstone pile driver, which only the Undertaker can do.
Which also leads directly into a pin move.
Thank you. Yeah. So, I am defending the honor of the Undertaker. I'm not defending my own. Look, you can accuse me or not. I'm really not bothered either way. But please don't slander the Undertaker by comparing the tombstone pile driver to a regular vanilla pile driver.
I think if there's one thing we can all agree on this podcast is do not slander the Undertaker. And
That's
do
right.
not with the Wu-Tang Clan.
Two things.
That's also true.
I think we
of
can
course.
both agree with those two statements. All right. So final thoughts. I am not changing my answer. And the reason, Joven, I'm not changing my answer is because I believe by accusing you, I am also paying you a huge compliment. Because if you remember, I said earlier that I didn't think you were that good of an actor to actually, you were so convincing when you said that. So when you said, I'm alive. I'm like, that is either great acting or you're really alive. So I'm paying you a compliment by saying it's great acting. I think you did some great acting.
Oh, thanks. And, again, for our hardcore fans, can you guys start a Wikipedia page on how many times I die on this stupid show?
Sorry, Joven. I'm sticking with Joven.
As am I. I'm not changing my vote.
Yeah.
I still think it's Joven.
All right, ghost vote. I also had Joven, and I had written down I'm king of the world, but I kind of am leaning toward Extinction Event, and here's why. Joven is the one of us that knows the most about wrestling. So Joven is also the one that could very easily make up a wrestler and their finishing move. I don't even believe this guy exists. I think he's a fake.
I
He made it up.
Love this.
Extinction Event has got to be a fake finisher, and I'm picking Joven.
Great.
All right. Okay, it looks like everyone has voted for Joven, so we need the big reveal from Paco. Who is the killer?
The killer this round was, in fact, Joven.
Hey.
Yeah, so I hate being the killer because you either kill me first or I'm the killer. Go back and watch the episodes. It's always that.
What was the phrase?
New
No,
rule.
what was the phrase that slays?
None of the things that you said, even though I expressed something with more emphasis, does not mean it is a phrase that slays.
What was it?
Luchasaurus. The person that will save us all from Jurassic Park is in fact Luchasaurus.
Okay.
Was it fake?
No, he's an actual wrestler. He's a dinosaur wrestler.
Too.
That's amazing.
So-
I thought you made him up.
So,
I was like,
Paco,
this
did-
guy's making up a wrestler.
Paco,
He's
did you
making up
put
moves.
that because it was me, or did you put that just as one of your prompts?
It was because it was you.
Well done, sir. Well done. Good producing work. Horrible cast work.
If I may, one thing that I think puts the guest at a disadvantage on this one is not knowing how the prompts are come up with. Like, is it after you see the question, or is it some random thing before?
We should explain
I didn't
that,
really
yeah.
know that Paco could tailor the the phrase to
I'm
the
assuming
question.
you
until we were
pre-roll
pretty
for
deep
these,
into it.
Paco? Like you already know who the killer is for each round before we start, or
Oh yeah.
I'm assuming.
After we get the prompts, I roll, and then I come up with the phrases.
Yeah. So it is pre-produced, but yeah, he knows.
So
See,
Lasercorn would have got the Ninja
interesting.
Sex Party, but if So Inky was the killer, it might have been a different band.
Yeah, I think the bias I had towards how it was done was it's some like random phrase generator that has nothing to do with anything, and you have to work some silly phrase into the thing you're saying, which is not relevant to the thing. Obviously, that's not the case.
My other prompts were, let's see, I saw Luchasaurus, and I just went with that first. So kill So Inky Luchasaurus, kill Brian was he's got the power, and kill Lasercorn was perfect as bait. Oh, that would have been fun. That would have been fun.
Oh yeah.
You gotta slip that right in there.
That's great.
I could have accidentally said that in my Goldberg answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has been Podcast Mafia. Thank you so much for watching. We do have an extended version of Podcast Mafia on the Patreon. Do check that out in the description. Huge thank you to our guest, Ninja Brian. New music in the work from Ninja Sex Party. And also, check out his other projects. Obviously, podcast, Go Banana Go, all his cool stuff that he's doing. There'll be links to that in the description, which apparently I am responsible for putting there.
I believe if we've established anything, we have established that. Yeah, guys, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, dude, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
thank
glad you had a
for
good
coming on.
time.
Yeah, we'll have
it
to
was
have
rad.
you back on because you were an
Please.
awesome guest. Yeah.
Anytime.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Bye, and praise OGSoG.
Present.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, if you're watching this here on YouTube, what are you doing? You could be seeing a lot more over on Patreon, like these fine people over here. I think I'm finally gesturing the right way. Who knows? But you can, give us money to see extended cuts, and we do fun shout outs and answer questions. We do a Q&A every month, do reactions to a lot of older content. We've been going through a lot of the game bangs from our past. That might sound weird to Brian if he hasn't seen our previous content. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.